In November 2005, TV presenter Ben Fogle and Olympic gold medalist James Cracknell set out on one of the world's toughest challenges, to row 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean.
Are we crazy? Half the stuff's outside, being swept overboard.
They would face the worst weather the Atlantic could throw at them.
We've come too far to go back.
Their only protection, a tiny 24-foot rowing boat. The crossing would take 2 months and see Ben and James push to their absolute limits.
We're gasping.
Lack of food, lack of sleep.
We follow their epic voyage with exclusive footage that captures their life-changing journey.
Antigua, here we come!
As they go through hell and high water. It's November the 30th, 2005. The race to row across the Atlantic begins in a matter of hours, and Ben and James are still getting their boat ready.
We'll take the orange one then.
We've got to take the orange one anyway,
Yeah.
just if we took another one or...
Preparing for the event has been a rush, and since arriving in the Canary Islands, things have gone far from smoothly.
When we were out doing our sea trials, I saw a side of him I hadn't seen before, which did scare me a bit. Why aren't you rowing faster? Come on, Ben.
I think they're far from ready. I think they're very unprepared. So this boat is illegal at the moment.
No way we'd chosen to change the most important component on our boat 2 days before we start.
Part of me just wants to go, well, forget it.
After a week of chaos, Ben and James are finally on the brink of departure. But it's been a less than ideal start.
There are so many things that James and I just don't know, and we have so little time now to learn how to do it. What happens if the water desalinator breaks? What happens if we don't know how to use X, Y, or Z? And I think for me, there's just so many things that are the unknown right now.
And one of the biggest unknowns is the relationship between the two rowers. They're setting out with very different expectations.
His thought is, hundreds of people have rowed this Atlantic before. If we do it, shall we join a club of 100 people? Which for me, I think is quite exciting. But for James, where he's in this exclusive club of 2 gold medals already, he wants to actually be high up in that club, in the top 10, for example. And that really scares me because I know that I have to perform, if you see what I mean.
If I have to push him hard, it's going to be a nightmare relationship for us both. He should want to go hard. He should want to put the hours in. If he doesn't, then he'll be letting me down. I don't think he's the sort of person that wants to let anyone down.
I've gone through stages of being really glad that that I'm rowing across the Atlantic with him, and being utterly terrified that I'm rowing across with him. I invited James to come on this race. I have no one to blame but myself. I could have chosen Nell McAndrew, couldn't I?
Ahead of Ben and James is a massive journey, from La Gomera in the Canary Islands, 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean, to the Caribbean island of Antigua. The trip will take them away from home for months, and they'll spend Christmas at sea, away from their families.
I've got to go and return someone's Hoover.
Ben,
Thank you so much. Thank you for all our sandwiches and things.
be careful.
I will. Don't worry.
And just don't let him bully you.
I won't.
I will miss talking to him about our day and our work. I will miss sharing Croyd's day with him. I will miss the pleasure of being parents together. I'll miss him probably on Christmas Day.
With the boat finally ready, there's one last chance to say their goodbyes before they throw themselves on the mercy of the mighty Atlantic.
To see them disappearing into the distance in a very tiny boat in a very large sea of water, that's what frightens me.
I'd not be human if I wasn't going to worry, but I think you've just got to focus on other things, because worrying is going to achieve absolutely nothing in this instance.
I think the thing that worries me the most is that James and I are going to both be the skippers of this boat.
If something goes wrong with us, literally our lives are in each other's hands, which is quite a scary thought. And things can go seriously wrong as well. Rather than just losing a race, we could end up not coming back.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm nervous.
After months of hard training and frantic preparations, Ben and James's big moment has finally arrived. They're leaving dry land behind for the very last time, and in front of them they face nothing but ocean, thousands of miles wide and more than 10,000 feet deep. Joining the other competitors out in the harbour, they steel themselves for the journey ahead. Then at midday, the race at last begins.
Always a long way to go.
And it doesn't take long for James's competitive spirit to show.
Level draw, remember? Not high, not high.
There may be 50 days of racing ahead of them, but he's determined to lead the pack.
You compete to win. You don't actually enter the competition with any other aim than to win.
Good stuff, Ben.
He is a gold-winning Olympian, and he has that very focused, headstrong mentality. And he is very much I don't just want to take part in this race, I want to beat the world record, and I want to come first.
And it's a dream start. Rowing in perfect harmony, Ben and James begin to power through the competition.
We're going to be winning in a minute.
As they leave the Canaries behind, they find themselves in first place. But then, less than a mile out, disaster strikes.
No.
The mount holding James's oar breaks away from the boat. It's a bad omen. Only 10 minutes into the race, and their lack of preparation is already beginning to tell.
Breakage already. Take out the Tupperware boxes. In the Tupperware boxes, James, are the spanners.
I can't emphasise enough how ridiculous just 3 months to prepare for this is. Where that might sound like a lot for some people, most people have been training for 2 years and planning for 2 years, and I can easily see why.
Well, we were leading for a bit. Huh? We were leading for a bit.
With the problem fixed, they begin to row and row and row. The lads have set themselves a punishing shift system. One rows for 2 hours while the other one rests. And they continue this cycle 2 hours on, 2 hours off, all day and all night, every single day, until they reach the Caribbean.
You really can't row for more than 2 hours without being pretty cheesed off or pretty exhausted. But that means that short 2 hour period you've got off, you've got a huge amount to pack into that time. So quite often you might only get an hour of sleep, an hour and a half if you're lucky.
The real dilemma is every morning when you get up, all you have to look forward to is the rowing seats and the oars, and just hours and hours of monotonous rowing.
And it doesn't take that long before they start to question their decision to set off in the first place.
Hitting a brick wall is the only way to describe that feeling of, oh my gosh, what have we done?
And that first night for us was definitely for me was the hardest. Knowing we had another 6, 7, 8 weeks of that was horrible.
We've done 23 and a half hours so far, and I think it's tougher than both of us thought.
We'll get through this, mate.
Well, physically it's tough, but also mentally it's just so slow. We're going, Ben's right now 2.6 knots. It's just, so slow.
Just think everyone else is going through exactly the same, no different.
Shifts through the night yesterday, which were hard, 2 hours on, 2 hours off is just really difficult. I mean, it's fine for one night, but I think you're always thinking, we've got another 50 of these, at least.
I think it's a good idea, just focus on just your 2 hour session and that's it. That's all we have to work through, and then think nice rest, food, sleep.
I don't think I've ever felt so bad in my life, ever. I know I haven't, ever, on anything. I'm sore, I ache, I'm tired, I'm pissed off, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
And it doesn't get any easier. Just a few days into their challenge, and Ben and James are beginning to fall apart.
It's tough out here, really tough out here, because we are so playing it by ear. We're just trickling across the Atlantic. It's so slow. Ben is really struggling in terms of mentally.
Just the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm 4 days in to 50. And I don't know what to do. I wish I wasn't here. I wish I was with Marina.
I've been away for up to a year before, and I always miss friends and family, but never with the intensity of this. And I think it was the isolation of it.
Ben sort of had this sort of romantic view that him and James would be rowing along and the sun would be setting in the background. And I just don't think he realised that it was going to be a real slog.
We found out since we just would both go in the cabin, cry, come out, row, go inside, cry, come out, row.
The urge to give up is so strong that the boys resolve not to call their families until there's no turning back. They fear that one phone call could break their spirits entirely.
Middle of the night, I've just come off the graveyard shift. You know, we're not even a tenth of the way. It's a long way to go. Long way to go.
I really missed him the first week, really missed him, much more than I'd sort of anticipated. I think because we weren't talking on the phone, we weren't texting, and even though we've had lots of periods apart, it was really strange not to be able to talk to him.
I still can't call home. Don't know, it'll be too hard.
Not only are they finding the isolation hard to handle, but they're also struggling with the unfamiliar boat. And while they're ironing out the teething troubles, they receive news that they're falling behind, as far back as 8th place.
Hello?
They're losing, and gold medalist James is just not used to it.
Really hot. We're getting about 1 knot. Boat's heavy. James is fed up. We chose to be here.
And the constant repetition is taking its toll on their bodies.
So what's the next job of the day?
It should be resting my blistered feet from problems they have.
Let's see them.
That's quite a painful one on my toe there. Chase. I've got another painful one there. I've got one on the back which is forming, and then I've got one which is too big for words under that effective bit of strapping.
And what about your hands?
Hands are like that.
After days of misery, the boys can't resist any longer and phone home for the first time.
Hi. Hello, how are you? I spoke to Marina for the first time today, and that made me really sad when I was speaking to her. But actually I'm feeling really upbeat. She's the most amazing girl, can I say. She was, come on, stiff upper lip, chin out. You're doing fantastically, you're 10% of the way there. Thank you, Marina. That is what I needed.
I spoke to Bev, she was amazing actually, and really supportive, and it was good, made me feel a lot better phoning home actually, so that was good.
I just sort of spent 10 minutes giving him a pep talk and just saying, it's great, you're going to be, you're going to do so well, you're going to be so proud of yourself, we're all so proud of you, and then just trying to be up for him and make him feel better. And then I just put the phone down and I just, I cried.
But for Ben and James, the phone calls are a real boost. Suddenly they settle into the routine and for the first time begin to look forwards instead of back.
We started to mark off the number of days gone on the door, and there's not many red lines yet, there's a hell of a lot. That would be 10% of the way to go.
Where are they? I can't even see them, they're so small. There they are. Hello. That's where we are. That little dot. That's where we left from. That little dot.
And where are we going?
Here. This even smaller dot. So basically,
They may have a long way to go, but they're finally beginning to get to grips with the challenges life aboard a 24-foot plywood rowing boat presents.
here we go.
That's fun.
Like converting seawater into drinking water.
Are you tasting it?
Tastes all right. As warm, a little bit salty water can taste.
Doing the necessary ablutions.
I've had enough of you, Fogel. That's it. I'm out of here.
Cooking, even if that does only involve boiling water for their dehydrated meals.
Oh. See what I'm dealing with here. Jamie Oliver doesn't have to put up with conditions like this.
And eating the results.
That's a fine muesli you've whittled up.
And morale keeps rising. The weather begins to turn in their favour. And with the wind behind them and some strong rowing, the boys make real progress, covering as many as 70 miles a day. Remarkably, they pull themselves up from 8th place and back into contention.
How was last night?
Good. Really stormy. Well, not stormy, just strong winds. And more of what you kind of hope the middle of the Atlantic's like. Fast. Especially at night, surfing down massive waves. What are they, 15 foot? Something like that. But for once you're getting free speed, whereas first week we had to work for every single 0.1 of a knot, whereas last night we were getting speed for nothing, which is really good fun. But I think there's a storm in the offing because it's all a bit funny this morning.
James's premonition proves true. Hurricane Epsilon is in the region. It's reached wind speeds of 85 miles an hour and could have devastating consequences for Ben and James.
I have to say that I'm really scared about this hurricane that's on its way. They say it's going to be here in about a day, and it's already pretty rough. Whoa, this is a big wave.
Here we go.
Whoa!
Make sure we hit them stern on. You want to come out of it?
Yeah. It's getting big, isn't it?
With high winds pushing against them, rowing is pointless. All they can do to try to stop themselves going backwards is deploy their sea anchor, a kind of underwater parachute that acts as a giant brake. With the storm approaching, there's only one place to hide: the tiny cabin that usually holds just one of them at a time.
So how do you feel about both of us being in here for the night?
Well, being that if I lie in it, that's one end used up and our feet touch the other. So Ben is here. Space.
Do we sleep head to head or toes to head?
I think your head will be there and my feet will be there.
Can I just see your toes? That's what I have to sleep next to. Nice.
With the storm on its way, Ben tries to comfort himself with the thought of food.
Dear.
We're going to save this species bag to see what we've got in it later.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see one thing already. I don't
Bill
like...
Tom.
Huh?
What is it?
Licorice all sorts. I hate licorice all sorts. Did you buy those? Oh, man. This is a snack bag, so through the night, when we're rowing, this is what we get to share between us. And tonight... So we've got those. We've got one packet of biscuits brown. Oh, exciting.
Over the book.
I don't know how those snuck in.
Yeah, it might slip over the side, I think.
A Yorkie bar.
Very good.
Look at this. This is a good bag. 4 Yorkie bars.
Oh, very good.
3 Go bars. And look at this. There's a bar of Milka in there. And a chocolate mousse. We are going to live like kings tonight. Through the storm in the 6-foot cabin. And we're having a no fasting policy, James. Promise?
Don't look at me.
See, that's the problem with these foods, they really give you wind.
But cooped up in such a small space, in the middle of the high seas, is no laughing matter. The mood on board soon drops.
We had to share this cabin, which is so small and just totally uncomfortable. I mean, it was so hot when the doors were shut, but then doors were open, seawater would fly in. So you're either hot and damp from sort of condensation or cold and damp from seawater. So frustrating.
We both found that being in that cabin together utterly miserable.
Hideous night. With James and I both cramped in here. There's no room for two of us. And now we've got a whole day. It's soaking wet in here. Waves actually came through the hatch underneath.
And the bad weather continues to torment them for the next 10 days. The lads row when they can, but they're constantly frustrated by a wind that pushes them round in circles. The winds are consistently higher than anything expected at that time of year. Stuck 2,300 miles from Antigua, Ben and James are going nowhere fast.
The days when we were on the sea anchor were really, they were tough because there was that frustration of suddenly what was going to be 50 days at sea turned into 51, 52, 53, because you weren't going anywhere. In fact, you were going backwards.
How boring is this?
Shocking. We're now only backwards at 2 knots, 2.2 knots.
I know that James found that particularly hard because if you're still with your anchor down, you aren't racing. And that was why he found it so tough, because it was a particular type of mental torture for James to be in a race and not be moving.
I'm so bored. We've got playing cards, but neither of us know how to play any games.
Before they left, friends and family gave them letters to open when things got bad.
I opened one from my mother, which just said, "To make you smile." And it's a picture of her dog. Look what's on the back. She's chopped off some hair from her tail.
The standstill doesn't only have consequences for their progress in the race.
If this happens all the way across, if we keep being stuck every couple of days, then we will run out of food a long time ahead, a long way ahead. And we're going to have to start rationing, basically.
But they're not the only ones making slow progress. The weather is affecting their rivals as well. Surprisingly, Ben and James are more than holding their own.
We're now second in the race, which is amazing. But the pressure that puts on us now is just incredible. In terms of, well, James now wants to win the race. So he's already talking about a new shift system for tonight, which will basically be 2 hours on together, 1 hour off. 2 hours on together, 1 hour off. 2 hours on together, 1 hour off. Even less sleep.
Their success in the race begins to expose their conflicting priorities.
The biggest difference between us was the fact that he was racing it and I was just crossing it. And that, you know, that was hard because you can't each both go on your own agenda. You have to both go for the same one.
There was only ever really one place that I would be totally satisfied with, irrespective of what your teammate is or what your expectations were. And I wanted to win it. And it became clear that if we did everything right and pushed ourselves hard, we had a chance of being in that position.
I think we're just getting so caught up in this, trying to keep up with the rest of the competition. I mean, James has been on that phone about 5 times a day trying to find out where everyone else is. I just don't think it's healthy.
You've been the most negative person. Well, one of the good things I thought about doing with you is you've been so positive. And you've been an absolute nightmare for the last day.
I agree. I have been
second place, and you just get morose and miserable. I'm like, oh. What?
But James's demanding work schedule brings big results. Good news for him, but not such good news for Ben.
We've also found out we're in first place. Hurrah! Which actually doesn't really excite me anymore because it just it terrifies me because James has already totally redone the shifts, and I now only get 45 minutes off, and then have to row for 1.5 hours on with him, and then 45 minutes off, 1.5 hours on. Yeah. I suppose we always knew we had differences in what we both wanted from this, but mine isn't to kill myself.
One thing I said to Ben before he left, I said, if James you off, you've got to let him know. You've got to confront him, because otherwise you're just going to bottle it up and you're going to go crazy by the end of 50 days. I think he probably didn't realise how competitive James was.
I can't really explain to you, though, that it's for me, it's the higher the position, the more pressure I suddenly feel to perform.
With tension growing, and after 2 weeks of total isolation, a sail appears on the horizon. The event organisers have a yacht shadowing the competitors to police the race, as well as act as a rescue boat.
Yeah, come with me and let's show you the support yacht that we haven't seen yet on the whole trip. We've been out for 14 days and these are the first people we're going to see.
So I think this is quite exciting. I haven't seen anyone for ages. I'm a bit bored of staring at your ugly mug. We've been stuck in that little cabin like 2 sardines. Sorry? Still? There's no way anyone can row into this right now. No. How far away ahead, boy? And who is the next one? Do you know? Okay. Have fun. Have fun. See you later. And there they're off.
After 14 days of rowing, Ben and James still lead the pack and are in with a real chance of winning. But there's an awful lot of ocean between them and the finishing line. And to get there, they'll have to hold their relationship together.
James says, right, today I don't want you to be able to say more than one word while you're on the oars because you're out of breath.
Face Christmas alone.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we have.
Battle their own demons. And take on everything the sea can throw at them.
Here's a big wave. James.